Okay, so we have basically, we're going to end up with um, three main ways that we do transformations in Algebra 2. In geometry, there's like 4 or 5, but in Algebra 2, there's three main ways that we do transformations. And the first one, which is the one that we just talked about, is translation. That's the first transformation. The second transformation that we look at a lot in Algebra 2 and beyond with these graphs of functions, okay, the next kind of transformation that we see is something called a reflection. Okay? And a reflection, a reflection, let's say you have a triangle that looks like, I don't know, this. Okay? There's a couple different ways that you could reflect this triangle. There's actually quite a few different ways that you could reflect it. But let's say one way that you reflect the triangle is you reflect it over the x-axis. Okay? So what is that going to mean? That's just simply going to mean that it's going to be the exact same triangle. Okay? The exact same triangle. But it's going to be as if the first triangle, we're looking in the mirror and seeing its image. And remember, that's actually the word that we use for it, image. So this triangle here, it's looking in the mirror and it's seeing its image, right? Okay? So if this were a translation, then this guy down here would be upside down from where it is right now. It would be oriented in the same direction that this guy is oriented in. But since it's a reflection, it's as if you've got two little guys looking in the mirror, or rather, one little guy looking in the mirror and seeing his reflection, right? Okay, so the reflection, another thing to remember about the reflection is just like the transformation, okay, the image is going to be congruent to the preimage. Okay? Remember that congruent means equal in every way. Everything. All the angles will be the same. All of the sides will be the same. If you were to measure this and to measure this, they would be exactly the same. If this were, more scientific than what I have. And then we could do the same thing. We could reflect it across the y-axis, right? Okay? So let's try and do that. Let's see if I can be a little bit more successful with this one. Okay? So, again, if this had been a translation, it would have just moved. It would be pointing in the same direction. But you can see that it's at least attempting to be a mirror image of it. Okay, so great. That is what reflection looks like when you're talking about rigid shapes. So let's say, what is it that reflection is going to look like when you're talking about functions? Okay, so so we're going to do the same thing sort of that we did before. Us math teachers, we love to use quadratic equations for this because you got these cute little parabolas that are curved, that looks a little bit different from say the a straight line. However, they also they look a little different, but they're kind of cool because they're sort of like symmetrical and stuff like that. So we love to use them. Me too. All right. So there is my pre-image, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflect all these points using light and yellow. So this one is 1 unit up, and so I'm going to make it 1 unit down, right? And that's how I'm going to make my first point of my reflection. Okay. Now this next one, lightning yellow, is 2 units up, so I'm going to make this 1, 2 units down. And I'm going to get my second point. Okay, then I'm going to go and use my lightning yellow. And I'm going to go 1, 2, and 1, 2, right? And that's going to give me this point right here. And then this point is going to be down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's going to be here. This other one's going to be over here. And I'm going to get this nice upside down U face, right? So this, whatever I said, I don't know why I said face. You're going to get this nice upside down U. This is the right side up U. This is the upside down U. And so that is the reflection. That is what happens when you reflect the graph of a quadratic function. You know, aka parabola, right? Parabola. You're going to reflect the parabola across the x-axis. Okay, and that is how you do reflection with a function. So that's a little introduction to doing reflections in Algebra 2.